Hi everybody, today is one of my favorite days of class. It is escape room day. And as you can see, I've got my classroom all decked out. Student desks are in groups, there we go. And if you look at this wall over there, you will see memes all over the place. You've got, basically, I like this one up here. It's Thomas Jefferson saying, "I don't always roast people, but when I do, it's Alexander Hamilton." So my students are gonna walk in today. And the first thing they're going to notice, and I guess I should start by saying this is, we just finished studying the Market Revolution, Second Great Awakening, and the Early Republic. So all of those things. And so when they walk in, normally what they would see is all my presidents on the wall behind me. But you might notice there's a new face. In fact, right between our two flags, Mr. Alexander Hamilton has replaced Jefferson and Adams' pictures with his. And so this is something new for the students. They'll see on their desks, there is, let me put this down for a second, there's a newspaper. It's called Legacy Times, and you can go online and just do there's like a random newspaper generator where you put your own article in, and then it like produces something else to go along with it. So the headlines that they see on here, on the back it says Granny wins World Wrestling Championship. On the front, international moose count underway, and then it says time traveling Hamilton out to change history, and there's a little meme of Hamilton wearing sunglasses. So the only one that they actually have to read, the only one that's important on here, is the time traveling Hamilton out to change history. And essentially the storyline that they'll read is that Hamilton was time traveling, visited the 21st century, heard that he was in a musical, so he happened to go to the musical and was absolutely appalled to find out that he never became president of the United States. Instead, his worst enemies, John Adams and and Thomas Jefferson became president. And it has on here, instead of being honored as an American hero, he's just the subject of a Got Milk commercial, because I love showing my students the Got Milk commercial where the guy is trying to say Aaron Burr, and he can't because he just ate a peanut butter sandwich. If you haven't seen it, you need to go look for it. It's all over YouTube. It's great. And so it says, word from our sources states that Hamilton is planning a takeover to rewrite American history, and he started by taking down his least favorite president's pictures and replacing them with his own, and it's up to my students to stop him from his evil plan and make sure that he doesn't change history, but that they keep the historical record intact. And at the very, very bottom, it says they should start by looking underneath their desks because apparently Hamilton left a clue behind. So the first thing they're going to do is underneath their desk, they can look, and there has been taped this right here. And at the end of this video, I'll actually do a close-up and show you kind of what it looks like. But these are multiple choice questions, but instead of A, B, C, D, there's some strange looking characters. It's dots and dashes. Here, let me replace that really fast. And so it shouldn't be too hard for the students because they've been studying for a test, so it shouldn't be too hard for them to get the dots, or to get the multiple choice answers. But what they do with the dots and dashes, well, hopefully they've noticed that on my wall there's a few extra things. Here is a Morse code alphabet that I found online that translates dots and dashes into ABCDs and 1, 2, 3s. Their answers are limited to the ABCD portion. And then, okay, they're going to say, okay, we got random letters, but what do we do with that? Well, over here also on the wall is another translation that has, maybe I just put the numbers over there. I probably just put the numbers. I can't remember which one, but it has numbers, 2 letters, code. They're going to have to use both of those in order to break into the lock. So once they figure out the combination, by the way, I don't have like cool briefcases. I brought a little bit of my luggage from home, but my cabinets, you'll notice this is a hair tie. Pretty cool, right? So once they break into this lock right here, they'll find a bag. They'll pull that bag out in here. Come back over here to the desk so I can show you what's inside. Every single group, there's 4 groups in the room. By the way, on the board, there's rules. Rules are important. It says all groups must agree on a combination before moving on or before trying it. They're working together, not racing each other. So I should say this, on that Morse code thing, every single group had different questions. But all of the questions should yield the same combination for the lock. And so they solve their group's problem, and then if another group's struggling, they can go over, and they have to work it out until they all have the same combination. And so they're all getting exposed to just a little bit of a different thing, which is good. It keeps one group from moving too far ahead too fast, because even if they have the answer, that doesn't mean that everybody else has the right answer, and so they've got to help them. So what they see is there's like a big Ziploc bag, and it's got individual bags. Like this is group 2. And it has just a few puzzle pieces in it with letters on it. And it's got a piece of paper. Now you'll notice it says all group items must stay at your table. There is no interchanging items. I bought these little jigsaw puzzles online. It was like $10 for a pack of 40 or something like that. However, every single one of them is cut the same way. So if they start interchanging pieces, that's just a nightmare. So every group's individual stuff needs to stay at their table. In this one right here, when they open up their piece of paper, a lot of them try to start building a puzzle out of their pieces, but it doesn't work yet. What they need to focus on is this right here. It's a historical gridlock. It says you are here. You start in the middle. There's a grid with a bunch of different names on it, and then there's some statements, like passed a law encouraging the arrest of anyone who criticized them. So they would want to go up to John Adams. So this is a directional lock combination, and so they have to write up, down, left, right, down here. Each group has 3. What they will quickly find out is their 3 up, down, left, right, like their 3 directions don't match any other groups. And that baffles them. At first they think they're wrong, and so they all start arguing over historical facts, which is exactly what I want as a teacher. I want them to be solid in what they think. But eventually they realize that they have to put all of their directions together into one place. And so they go looking for the directional lock, which happens to be, if I show you my classroom, we're walking by some desks, and they'll find this cool little, actually not really cool, there we go, little bag down there, the kind that if you saw in an airport, you'd probably report to security because who knows what's in it. But cool little bag, and they do the directional lock on the bag, this one, and they have to put all of their combinations together. So usually it takes them a while to figure out. There's a lot of fighting over it, and I'm laughing in the corner. But when we look in this bag, what they find are more puzzle pieces, which is great. So they go and add those, and then they find a series of cards. So it says things like Erie Canal built, Marbury versus Madison, Washington's elected, Battle of New Orleans, Madison's elected. Every single group has different cards. All historical events that we've discovered. And so at first they go, what do we do with these? Usually pretty quickly somebody realizes that the goal is to put them in order. And they notice that on the back, some of them are blank, some of them have numbers. When they put them in order, what they end up with is a combination. So it'll be like, 2, 5, blank, 1, 8, blank, 4, something along those lines. And so that tells them the combination is 25, 18, 4. So some classes are quicker to pick that up than others. Some of them try to discard the blank ones, thinking they don't count. But anyway, and once again, every single group has to agree on the combination. So even if one group gets theirs in order, if another group has a different combination in mind, they all have to figure out who's right, and it helps them all put their events in order before they move on. So stick that back in there. And then they got to go find the next combination lock, which is back over here. Another cabinet. So pull my chair. So right here, there's another one. And let's see, we'll take that off. Okay, so this has the last bit of puzzle pieces, which is great. And it also contains, another piece of paper. And this piece of paper, all it has on it sorry, I'm losing puzzle pieces here. It says word scramble, and there's a series of blanks, and some of them have little asterisks underneath. So what they have to do is they have to build their puzzle. On the puzzle, there's a series of questions, and those questions, the answers should fit in these blanks. And then they figure out what letters have asterisks underneath. They combine all of the starred letters, and then they unscramble them, and they put it right here. So they should form a word, and I give them a hint. So this one is type of employee who worked at Lowell Mills. So that would be a girl, right? And so G-I-R-L, and here the R would have the asterisk. Well, every single group has a different set of questions on their puzzle piece, a different set of words to unscramble. They all have different answers, and so they're all going to come to the very final lock with a different letter. So this group's going to come up with the letter R. Other people are going to have different letters. And ultimately, once they get to the stage where they all have their letters, that's when I will put, somewhere in this is there's lots of chaos and a big scramble, I will go to the board and I will write the final question on the board, and that is what happened to Washington, D.C. during the War of 1812. The groups will have the letters B-U-R-N. They'll figure out that the answer is burn, like it burned down. And so finally, they will head over to the last suitcase. Let me see if I can crawl on the floor here. So final suitcase, woo, my luggage, which has a letter lock on it, and they will put in the correct word from all their letters, open up the suitcase, and they'll find the following things. Congratulations, you saved, or you have stopped Hamilton in his tracks. They'll find a bunch of candy, one for each person, and they will find the missing president's pictures. Now for my dual credit class, this is just for the candy for them and for the review. For my on-level class, I give them 3 points extra credit on the test if they are able to escape. And usually I've had groups do it between 35 and 45 minutes. Like 45 is kind of my cutoff. I have to be able to escape in 45 minutes in order to get that extra credit. Dual credit, I just can't do that because they already have another opportunity, but the college just doesn't allow me to just do blanket extra credit. So that's where we are. But anyway, students love this. And so let me pause for a second, and I will come back and show you all of the different documents, like up close and personal. Morse multiple choice. This is what it looks like. So you see just a typical multiple choice, except not so typical in that it's got Morse code for its answer choices. And so you go down, there's their translation of the code and then the numerical combination for the lock. So it gives them letters first, and then they have to put those in numbers. And then I do, because our students don't actually use lockers at our school, most of them don't, and if they do, they don't lock them. So I put instructions for opening up a combination lock on the back just because some of them really just don't have any experience with that. Let me go here. So historical figure grid lock. This gives you like a you are here. There's a series of names. If you see names you don't recognize, it's probably because those are teachers at our school, and it's just kind of fun to shake it up a little bit. You see there's the 3 descriptions down there. They write their series of directions and then explanation of how to use the directional lock. And then finally, the word scramble. So there's the word scramble. Like I said, the questions themselves are on the puzzles that I've created for them. And yeah, so overall, here just a second. So you might be asking, why do an escape room like this? What are the pros and cons? Well, big pro is that it gets them out of their seats. They love it. They're moving around, they're yelling, it teaches them teamwork. So much fun. I love decorating my room with all of the different memes to just make it festive. I usually have fun music on in the background. There's something personally satisfying about breaking into a suitcase. So that's great. Con though, and this is a big con, is that I have to reset it for every single class. So right now, the schedule that we have at our school, we have like 15-minute breaks, or we have a break period, whether it be lunch or a break or an activity period in between each block. And so that's perfect for me. It's easy to get everything set back up. There was one year that I had 5 minutes in between each class. That was a lot harder, a lot more stressful. And so this year too, I have, because we have a block system and because my on-level classes are doing it at a different time than my dual credit, I actually only have one escape room a day, so I can get to school a little bit early and set things up. In previous years, that wasn't the case. I made it work, but it was challenging. There was one year that somebody randomly lost a puzzle piece, and so I had to recreate a puzzle in the moment. So there's those things that can cause havoc. I will say, whatever you do, I would definitely write out a master plan. If you want to do an escape room like this, write out a master plan, and this is what mine looks like. It has my setup, my rules, it gives me the storyline, and it tells me each activity in order and what the combination is, so that if I ever need to recreate it, if I ever need to just in the moment, whatever, or even today, I haven't looked at it in a year and I was setting it up for the first time. It was really easy for me to reproduce. So I highly recommend that. And if you are interested in this escape room, just let me know. Give me your email or shoot me an email, and I'm happy to respond, not only with my instructions, but with all of the little files that go with it, and even with the lecture notes that lead up to this so that you can see exactly what was taught. Although I would say that if you're going to do this, I would take what you teach, and like if there's something in one of my multiple choice things that you don't cover, I would make your own. Just keep the answer choices similar or tailor them to yourself. The other thing is, where do you find the locks? Where did you find the puzzle pieces? All of that. Not Google, but Amazon. You can buy all kinds of different locks, combination locks, directional locks, that sort of thing. I just went and bought some online for pretty cheap. You can get those little miniature puzzles. They're just plain white, and you can write whatever you want on them. So lots of different options on Amazon, and for really affordable pricing. And I have used these every year for the past, 3 years now, I think? Maybe this might be my 3rd or 4th year doing this. And so it definitely has paid for itself over the long haul. So hope you enjoyed my escape room. Wish my students luck today as they give it a shot.